Hey guys, I'm on now. Hopefully everybody can hear me. What up, Keo? Sorry, I got the title wrong on there. So it says Sunday scan for last week, but this is our current Sunday scan. So let me just let me drop this in the room. Let everybody know we're live, and then we'll jump into it. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the chat. So if my mic stops working, you guys just let me know. There's a little bit of a delay, but I'll be watching the chat. For some reason, it like intermittently cuts in and out. I don't know how to get that to turn off, but anyway, welcome in, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope everybody can see. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. Ready to get after it this week. I had a pretty busy weekend. But no risk, no Rari, right? That's the motto. What's up, Almer? What's up, everyone? All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. So this is the Sunday scan for the week of February 27th. We will be changing the calendar on Wednesday to March 1st. So, you know, hopefully everyone had an eventful February. Hopefully everyone followed their rules. And if not, I would challenge you to get the ball rolling these next 2 days to carry that momentum into March, right? Into March 1st and end Q1 strong, right? It's hard to believe that we got basically 30 more days left in Q1. So from a calendar perspective this week, we really don't have a lot going on from a Fed perspective. Fed speaker perspective, data perspective, it's really going to be baked in on earnings. That's going to be the key here of what's going on. Yeah, Keith, penthouse, poorhouse, right? But I want to go in and tell you guys some of the names I'm looking at earnings. We'll kind of talk about some things that could happen with these earnings. But as far as economic events, we really don't have a lot going on this week. So there's not too much to be concerned with from the index perspectives when you're playing SPY, QQQ. When it comes to CPI, PPI, all those different types of things, we don't have a lot going on this week. So earnings are going to be kind of what moves the needle this week. So names that I'm really interested in, tomorrow after close, I'm interested to see what Zoom and Workday do. Monday after close. Tuesday after close, interested to see what Rivian does. Lucid got hammered on their earnings, and if that was any indication of what's going to happen to Rivian, I actually consider taking some Rivian puts into earnings this week, but you guys know I don't like to play earnings. I like to play the flushes, so I think we'll have some good flush opportunities. But Rivian looks good for potential downside if it's going to follow what Lucid did last week. Before open on Wednesday, we have NEO. And guys, for those of you that aren't in the room, this calendar is posted in the room under the earnings calendar section. But we have NEO at the open on Wednesday. Salesforce and Snowflake Wednesday afternoon after the bell. Costco is going to be a big one Thursday after close. That's going to be one that could be a potential flush play on Friday. We also have C3 AI. We've been playing AI a lot. Interested to see what they say on Thursday as well after the bell. Could be potential flush plays that we get going into Lotto Friday this week. Costco and AI are the two that I would be looking at. We also have ChargePoint on Thursday after close as well. So there's some good names. Some good things to look at this week. Mix of some bigger names, and then also we're going to get some consumer staple names as well. Just going back to chat, making sure that you guys can still hear me. Hopefully we don't have these mic issues again, but if we do, I'll jump back and hit that button I need to. So that's kind of what I'm watching from an earnings perspective, guys. A lot of names reporting this week, but those are the names that are going to be on top watch for me. Let's take a step back now, and let's just jump in and look and see where we're at with SPY again. I kind of like to start these Sunday scans to kind of see how the week shaped up, what it looked like, what happened. Let me turn drawings off. Let's jump into the weekly to give us an idea of kind of what happened this week with SPY. Nope, audio's still on. Yeah, audio's on. So with SPY this week, guys, you kind of see, let's look at the candle, weekly candle on SPY. So we opened the week at 403.06. We went all the way up to 404.16. We had a low of 393.64, and we closed Friday at 396.38, right? So it was a 2% decrease this week on SPY, 2.6% decrease to be exact. This is it's an interesting weekly chart here on SPY, because we have technically, right, like if we're looking here, like we have, sorry, I knew that was going to happen. Let me just put something in here real quick and delete that. We can delete this supply zone. A lot going on here, but let me just hide this. I don't want to get rid of my SPY levels just yet. But if you guys see here, right, on the weekly, right, you can see we have this downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. We broke out of the downtrend. Now we're coming back down. So what I'm looking for on SPY, guys, is I'm looking for this weekly downtrend that was intact. I want to see us come back down and test this weekly downtrend and bounce, which is going to put us, which is kind of in this 370 range, which is what I mentioned last week, guys. If we got into this 400 and 390 range, in between 390 and 400, anything under 390, I think we get a very, very quick move back down into that 375 area, which would give us that bounce on this time on that trend line, right? Because we have this weekly downtrend, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We broke out of the weekly, we came back and we tested this downtrend. You know what? Let me just put this downtrend on here. It's going to be ugly because I have all these lines, but let me just show you what I'm talking about. Here we go, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, came back down, broke out here, right? So I'm expecting us to kind of come down and test this area down in here, right? 385. If we lose 385, then I'm looking for that 375 range. Okay, and hopefully you guys can see this, what I'm looking at, but big area, right? So we broke out. Now we're going to come back down and retest this trend line. Last time on the weekly that we retested this trend line, we got a hammer candle. We made a new high. We made a new local high, right? All the way back up here at the 417, 418 area. Couldn't get to that 420 mark. But I would look for, I'm naturally looking for this weekly trend line to be tested into that 380, 385 area, basically, is what I'd be looking at on SPY on the weekly. Okay, so that's SPY. QQQ is going to be very similar. And again, now that we don't have any Fed information this week, these two should move in tandem together outside of any big major news event that happens. But same thing here, right? Like on the weekly time frame, I'm looking for this trend to basically remain in place. Right? So rejection, 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 breakout. If we come back down and test this line, then I'm looking at a 275 area on QQQ. First target is going to be this 285 area, right? 285, then 275 on QQQ are larger time frame perspectives that I'm looking at. I know this isn't the most exciting thing to look at, guys, but it's always good to know where we're at, comparatively speaking, in the markets. This is a key area, right? This is a key. If we look at this area on QQQ, just to show you guys what I'm looking at here, let's draw, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right, you can see this area of demand on the weekly, right? Demand bounce, come down, bounce out, come down, into demand, and bounce, right? This is simple supply and demand here, okay? Come down, bounce at demand, because we bounced here before, right? Back in 2020, we bounced at the same area. So we come down here in October of 2022. 2 years later, right, the same buyers are waiting for this bounce buy. They're buying here, they pushed us back up, right? Come back down into demand, push back up, come back down into demand, push back up, push back up, push back up, okay? So naturally, I would look for us to come back down and retest this demand area. We don't always get those retests. It doesn't always happen, right? Because here, right, demand push, demand push, demand push. Eventually, if we sell, we should come back down into demand, right? Well, no, we didn't get that dump down here into demand. It kind of held up. But if we do drop, this is an area of demand that I would look for us to, to potentially bounce out of on QQQ on larger time frames, right? So anywhere in this 259 to basically 264 area, a $5 increment of demand on larger time frames. This is where longs like to position themselves, it looks like, because this is where they've defended so far. Now, when they give this up, right, then we'll find some time frames to look at. We'll find some maybe COVID highs on QQQ. 233 would be the next logical target down, right? Because you can see on the weekly time frame, that's the next big area, level of interest pivot spot that I'd be looking at on QQQ is basically right here, right? This is where I'm looking. Right before COVID news hits, sells out the gate, right? Market just off a ledge, right? QQQ drops from 231 to 162 very, very quickly, right? In a span of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, basically, right? A month, we drop, basically we lose 50% of the value on QQQ. So this is a QQQ chart. That's what I'd be looking at, okay? Now what I want to go into, guys, I want to start talking about some individual names, some things that I'm looking at, some things that I'm watching to give you guys indication on some potential setups that I like and some things that I think you guys should, should have on watch. So, like I said, for the watch list this week, it's going to be pretty quiet in terms of the Fed related events and data reports. So really for me, these earnings reports are going to be top watch for me. That's going to be what's going to move, right? So two charts that I want to look at specifically to get started tonight. Let's take a look at Meta first. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it does that. Like, I need to figure out what's going on Streamlabs because it'll intermittently cut in and out. and I have no idea why. I have to come back in here and do it for me. But yeah, sound should be back now. Yeah, perfect. It's back now. Okay. So Meta, guys. Meta is a name that's interesting to me. You can see that these buyers that were buying back here this time last year, really over a year last year, right? February of 2022, early February in the 245 area, they're still underwater because we haven't gotten back up to that 245 mark. Okay. So what's interesting to me on Meta is that we're starting to put in a base here at this 170 level. And you guys hear me say all the time, we talk about key levels. We talk about areas of confluence, areas that buyers and sellers have shown us resistance or support, right? So let's look at 170 and how does this 170.39 key level resonate with what we've seen in the past on Meta? So what I like to do is see where are we basing now and then zoom out like we are here and see, well, how have the buyers and sellers reacted last time we were at these levels, okay? Last time we lost 170.39 from this perspective, right? We held it as support, right? We got over it, we held it, we pushed up into that next area, right? All the way up here at that 183.09. We sold off of the 183.09, came back down to the 170 level, and we closed underneath. And what happened? We pushed, and there's our first retest. So this is what you guys hear me say all the time, right? Looking for a retest to get short or to get long. Here's your retest. Now we've confirmed that this is in fact resistance, right? This 168.87 broke down through that level, pushed back up, and we tried twice, right? Tried once on this day, tried twice on this day. We rejected and fell all the way down here to 155.91 from that 168 level. Someone said no audio, but I think there's audio. What's up, PB? So with Meta, guys, this is just simple support and resistance flips, right? So we break down, now it's resistance. Resistance, 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 resistance. Broke, I mean, it closed over, but bearish candle here, resistance, then we gap down. So you can see sellers are stacked here at 170. Or they were. They were, right? They were stacked. So what's happening now is that people that were selling here have now flipped, right? Those sellers have gotten out of those positions at 170, and they're trying to defend it. Buyers are trying to defend this now. This is that game of tug of war that I mentioned. Buyers are trying to step in here at 170 or this 168.87 key level, I guess is what we should say, and push us back up, right? They're going to try and push us all the way back up to this 183 level. Now, I like Meta because it is in this falling wedge pennant that we've been watching. I mean, we've been watching this pennant, guys, for the last 2 weeks, basically. Since we made this push in earnings, it started kind of putting us in this little pennant, and it just keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And what does that mean? That means when we have larger time frame conditions, right, it gives us a better chance of a high probable move, right? Because if we just look at a 2-minute chart and we see things like this setting up, there's a chance it could happen. If we look at a 15-minute chart, there's a better chance it could happen. If we look at a 30-minute, an hourly, a 4-hour, right? The larger time frame charts that we look at, the higher probability that something is going to break in a big way. And what I mean by that is here's your buyers and sellers playing tug of war, right? Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, buy again, sell, buy, right? There is a massive game of tug of war going on here, and this is a simple consolidation pattern that you see all the time in day trading and all the time from technical analysis experts, right? Big area of range, tightening, 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 tightening. This is a falling wedge. So statistically speaking, what we should see is a big move out of here to the upside, right? This is the move that we should see. We should see a move that looks something like this on Meta back to the upside. Now, does it always work? No. Technical analysis isn't 100%, right? It's not 100% accurate, because if it was, none of us would be sitting here. Every single time we saw a falling wedge, we'd buy calls and we'd retire after that, right? It just doesn't work that way. But what I like about Meta is look at how, when we consolidated prior on Meta, look at what happened, right? Last time we had a consolidation pattern on Meta, right? Big consolidation, getting tighter, getting tighter, getting tighter, getting tighter, getting tighter. getting really, 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 really tight here, and then bam, we break out. We break out, we retest, and we go. And when I say go, we go from, what's the low here? 117.74 on December 30th, right? And a month later, we're at 153.70. You know, over a $40 gain on Meta, almost a 40% move basically, right, on Meta in 30 days, which is huge from a large cap perspective. Greg, key levels are based on daily and 15-minute mainly is what I like to use. So using this as context, guys, because again, like I always tell you, buyers and sellers react at levels even during different time periods, during different days, during different weeks, different months, different years, right? They're going to act the same. So when Meta starts to consolidate and gets tight, we typically see big moves out of it. So what are we getting now? We're getting a tighter move, right? We're getting big consolidation, tightening, 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 tightening. And I would expect that this would look something like this, that we're going to get a big move up based on technicals. Now, if we break down, we break down, and we have key levels if we break down, right? If we break down through 168.87, we know that this range that's coming next is going to be 153.70. I would look for 150 to be the next base. We're starting to base at 170 on Meta, but if we break 170, I'm looking at 150 to be that next base. Why 150? Well, look, right? This is the area. This is the area that we've traded the bulk of the time in when we break down through these levels. When we lose 170, what happens? We see that 153. Back up. 153. Back up. Right? Here we got back over 170, went all the way up to 183. Come back down, lose 170, 153. Right? Again, go back up 183, come back down, lose 170, 153. Come back up to 170, reject it. Very next day we gap down. Here's 153, and then we subsequently went all the way down to our next level at 123.60. So that's how you utilize key levels, guys. That's exactly what we're looking at here. And this is why I say zoom out on the larger time frames and kind of see where we're going. So Meta is going to be a top watch for me, guys. This will probably be on the watch list in the majority of the pre-market huddles. I'm going to have additional levels to give you guys that we can play and we can scalp in these areas here as we break out of this, assuming we break out to the upside. If SPY sells and QQQ starts to trend down like I showed you that we could do, we know that if we lose 168.87, the next level that we should be looking at Meta to go to is probably that 153.70 area, right? So 155 puts could be a major play this week on Meta if we lose this level. If we break out to the upside, 185 calls could be a massive, massive mover on Meta this week that we'll be watching. Exactly, Henry V. Yeah, it's in a good spot. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching on Meta. That's what I wanted to convey with you guys on Meta. Right now it's kind of in a bit of no man's land because you can see we haven't been here since all the way back in August of 2022. It was the last time we traded at these levels, right? But I think if we lose the 170, that 150 does become a solid base for us for now. But it's one of these names that we could very easily. It's one of these names, right? I don't know what's going to happen, but we could very easily see something like this going down with Meta. Sorry, let me. Right, we could see that, or we could see this. That's what I'm looking at, right? We could see it move up. We could see it move down. So we could see 200 or we could see 150 on Meta, really, is what I'm looking at from here at 170. Again, we're kind of in the middle. We're trying to base at 170. So let's see if we can use 170 as risk to break out of this falling wedge to the upside. And if we can't, if we lose 170, I'm going to look for that 154 area to kind of hold 150 demand zone psych level where buyers potentially will step in at. Okay. Now, the next name I want to look at is one that you guys know that I played a lot in October, November, December. Q4, this was a big one. This one and Tesla, these were big names for us to play, specifically Netflix, right? Netflix was the ATM. And I mentioned, guys, on Netflix, when we lost back here in April of last year, right, when we had this big gap down when they missed on earnings. Sorry, I'm just going back. There we go. Okay. You guys let me know if the audio cuts out again. I think we should be okay, though. But when we lost this level, guys, we gapped all the way down, right? And you heard me say Netflix was just continuing to grind up. It was a grind up, grind up, grind up. And all the way up, I kept telling you guys that the people that bought down here at this 160 level, right, whoever bought at 160 was going to be looking to potentially sell some. We're going to start to see some resistance at that, 340 level, right? 320 level, I guess we should say. Why 320? Because people that bought at 162 are now up. They've doubled their money at 320, right? So why do you think we saw, when we made this move up on the daily chart, right? Buyers buy in here, pushing up, 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 up. And we get some resistance here. Probably because some of the people that bought at 162 have now sold or exited, a majority of their long-term positions here if they're up 100%, if they're actively trading it, right? It's an area that people are going to start to sell because the local lows or the 52-week lows, we doubled where we were at from there, right? So now on Netflix, look where we're back at, guys. We're back into this range. And again, we're going to talk about ranges, but look at the range that we're in here. Okay? We held this range back in 2022. Bounce, bounce, breakthrough, right? Reject, traded in this range, rejected it, traded in this range, rejected, and then gapped up. Now we're back down in this range, right? So what I'm looking for on Netflix is a breakdown of this 315 level is what I have, guys. 314.93. If we lose this, then I'm looking for Netflix to make a move back down into that 305 area, right? Let's go ahead and put that level on there. I cleared all my levels on Netflix just to make it cleaner for you guys. But really, what we're looking at here is right here, right? This 305 area. I have 305.22, but you guys see the point, right? This is kind of what we're looking at on the daily. And we're kind of putting in this big rounded top pattern, right? And we could come right back down here to this key level and area of confluence, which is around that 280 spot on Netflix. So this is really what I'm watching, right? The 360, 370 was a crucial breakout area, right? It was either we break out here and we go to 400, which a lot of analysts had price target upgrades on Netflix in and around that 400 area. We'll have to look and see if they revise those because now we're trending back down to 300. But this was the area that it was a make or break for Netflix, right? It was going to go back to 400 plus, or we were going to reject here and head back to 300. And so far we're heading back to 300. But this was the perfect short up here at this 375 area. So I think that we are going to see this 300 gap fill. Like I think we're going to see 305 and I think we're going to see 300. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Now if we lose, if we get 300 and we lose that, the next area that I'm watching, I mean just where my eyes fixate on the chart is right here at 280. Right? Because ultimately this is what I see. Right? I see this. I see us gap up. We reject. Breakout. Strong breakout over 280 here on this daily candle. December 21st. Strong breakout. Push up to the next level. Come back down. Right back down to that 280 level. Crash down through it. Come back. Break through it. And then we hold. Right? Hold. Push. Hold. Tried to hold it. We lost there on the daily. But held and then push up again. So really this 280 area is going to be that next demand zone that I'm looking at on Netflix. But this will be a name too that will likely be on the pre-market huddle during the week, this week in Moneyline for those of you that are in the Discord. Because I think it is a beautiful chart to the downside. And you guys know how Netflix moves when it really does move. Look at some of these daily candles, right? Massive candle. Massive 2-day candle here. This is when Netflix kind of turns into massive swings, right? This is a 2-day. This is February 9th to 10th, right? February 9th, the high was 373.83. The very next day, 347.14. Right? So like a $30 move in 2 days. Netflix moves like crazy when it really moves, which is why I love playing it, which is why you guys saw me play it a lot in Q4 of last year. So this is a top watch for me going into this week. Netflix is going to be huge. Okay, let's take a look at BA. Two other names I want to talk about after BA. I want to show you guys two other names, and then I can jump into maybe some chart requests quickly and the other things that we want to talk about tonight. But, all right, BA is an interesting one. Let's look at the weekly on BA. I think it's a little bit cleaner to look at the weekly. You guys will see kind of what's going on here on the weekly. Again, I really like Webull. I just hate how hard they make it to zoom in on some of these things to show you guys what I'm looking at. Weekly time frame, right? Weekly flag. There's our flag. Throw a little color on it. Here's our consolidation breakdown, right? So from a weekly time frame, what am I looking at now? On a weekly time frame, I'm looking for us to come back down and test this 191.12 area. Right? This is where I think we come back down to, just because this is where we bounce from that 190 area, 190 demand area. That's where we kind of bounce from when we got into that consolidation pattern and kind of hit all the way up there into that 215 area. Okay? So this is the W pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm just kidding. That's not really a pattern. It looks like a W. I just wanted to put that there. We can put a massive weekly level here, though. This is one that we probably should put. You guys can see buyers are definitely here, right? Buyers are definitely at that 121 in this demand zone. Buyers are for sure here. But ugly weekly looking candle, right? The weekly candle does not look good on BA. Unfortunately, though, when we zoom in and go to the daily, this was the consolidation pattern that we had, right, that we were watching, and we played it. We actually played this relatively well. The problem is that this breakdown out of this pattern happened. We gapped down on Friday on news, which kind of sucks, because this would have been a great move for us to play. See what happens with news, what happened when the news dropped, when we lost that 204 level that I've been giving you guys, right? Because remember, our key levels on BA were 204 to 215. This was the channel we were trading in, right? Channel to channel, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. We played this breakout here because we went from 215 to 221. I think Keo in the room got like 300% on that. Maybe it was 300%. He can confirm if he's on here. I think I got like 170% on that. It was a massive move here, but kind of a fake breakout because we fell right back down into the channel. If we would have gotten this breakdown, this would have been a massive play for us. We would have made, massive returns had we have gotten puts on this breakdown of BA. Unfortunately, like I said, though, just sometimes these moves happen without us, being in a trade, and that's okay. Because we've got key levels, right? We've got levels we can play off of even when we're outside of this consolidation. I just like playing these consolidation patterns because this was a massive game of tug of war that had been going on since the beginning of the year, January 6th, right? All the way to February 23rd. Massive game of tug of war. Buyers and sellers on Boeing were playing, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, breakdown. Great move here. So yeah, these are the levels I'm looking at on BA, guys. We gotta hold 196.77. If we can't hold that, we're going right for that 191.12 area, which is on that weekly time frame, the area that we bounce from. So if we go back to the weekly, all of these candles would be like one candle, right? This is the area that I think we drop down to, and if we lose this area, then I'm looking for really a move down to 178 on larger time frames, right? Potential to swing if we lose 191, a short swing on BA, at least targeting that 175 area, could be a massive play. Could be really massive on BA. So that's what I'm watching on BA. Let me jump into the other one I want to talk about. Good out. There we go. Sorry about that. Sound should be good now. Yeah, sound should be good now. Coin is another one, guys, that I really thought we were going to get that. Really thought we were going to get that breakout on 87.63 and pushing us up to that 112 area. That was a key spot, right? Like, this was a huge resistance spot when we got that massive rip a few weeks ago. But they rejected it, and we made really good returns on this way up. We also made good returns on the way down. So what I'm watching now on Coin, guys, is just I'm looking at this selling pressure pickup. I'm seeing a lot of we're seeing downward pressure, right? Let me see if I can. Actually, that's not going to work. Sorry. Right, we kind of have this downward pressure on Coin. Probably go back here, do it this way. We're starting to consolidate on Coin, right? We're touching this trend line, right? Down, 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 bounce, touch the trend line, down, touch the trend line, down, touch the trend line, down. We're just trending down on this line here. So if this continues, guys, I mean, Coin could be going right back down, into that $46 area if we keep doing here. Now, we saw that growth was starting to curl, right? 2 weeks ago, we noticed that growth was starting to curl, money was coming back in, and we got this huge pop. Now we're seeing sells accumulate, right? Because look down here. You guys can see this. You see these sells accumulating down here? We haven't been, from a daily perspective, they haven't sold Coin. We had a $33 million day sell. We haven't sold that much on Coin since all the way back down here, right, on November 9th when we were at that 46.16 level. So they're aggressively selling Coin, guys. Like, this is big sell volume that's starting to pick up. Sellers are starting to accumulate, and so I do think that we're going to see a move down on high beta names, especially if SPY pools. I mean, if SPY pools, high beta names are going to come with it in my mind. And I think Coin could lead that charge to the downside. Now, the other name I want to talk about tonight is Tesla. This chart might be a little ugly because we got a lot of levels on Tesla. Yeah. Very ugly chart. Sorry, I need to clean up my charts for you guys. Probably go back in and rechart some of these levels. Probably should do that when we have this many. I'm just hesitant to take any of my levels off because we typically hit these levels intraday. They're really good levels for us to play off of. But, guys, as you can Tesla is, there's some overhead supply right here, right? This 215 area all the way up to 218, right in here, like this is, sellers are here. Sellers are sitting there. And I think they knew that if they got over 218, 220, right, then it was going to be 230, 235, 240, 250 next on Tesla. Like 250 is a big spot, 255 to the upside. For me personally, this 196.90 level has been a key pivot spot for us to play off of. Why has it been? I don't know. I have no idea why buyers like this 196.90 level. I don't know if this is where longs are using 197 as like a risk. I'm not sure what the play is here, but you can see this 196.90 level right on the daily. Held. What did we close it there? 196, 197.37. We held it. Held. We closed this at 196.88. So I'm going to say we closed right on our 196.90 level because we were 2 pennies off. So I don't know what the play is here on Tesla, to be honest with you. What I will say is that there's definitely sellers above, right? We've got sellers above. We've seen them, but we've also seen days where they kind of take us from this low of 190 all the way up to 209. We've seen massive moves on Tesla. So I don't know what the play is. Like, I don't know where we're going to go on Tesla, but the point I was trying to make was that we're starting to hit overhead resistance and we're seeing consolidation, which is healthy on a name like Tesla. Why is it healthy? Why am I excited to see some of that? Because if you look, guys, ever since we hit that 101.89 or 101.81 level, it has been just straight rip mode on Tesla. Literally 101.81 to a high here of 214 in a month, right? Tesla doubled in a month. If you put $1 million in Tesla at the beginning of the year, you're now sitting on close to $2 million, right? It is what it is. We've doubled on Tesla. The reason I didn't want to get long in Tesla, or you could play the trend, but what I want to see on Tesla is a pullback in base. And you'll hear people like Ripster talk about this all the time, right? There's always money to be made on the upside, right? Because Tesla could base here for a few more days, a few more weeks, and then Tesla could make another leg up to 255. And we could play that leg, right? We missed the move if we were swingers, right? If we're swinging, we missed the move, 101.81 all the way up to this 215 area. We missed that. We didn't play it, or we did play it, now we're out of it, whatever the story is, right? This is where pro traders separate themselves from your everyday retail trader, because we're not going to sit here and try and predict and say, oh yeah, Tesla's going to 255, Tesla's going to 300, Elon's doing this, Elon's doing that, or Tesla's a POS company, they're not worth anything, they don't actually produce things, their vehicles are horrible, right? Like we're not in that mindset, because we're not in the business of predicting things. We're in the business of reacting and making decisions with risk management and discipline at the forefront of everything that we do, right? And that's exactly what we're going to do here on Tesla. Tesla is starting to put in, right, this little pattern, which again, I hate that. You know what? Here, hang on a second. Let me just do this. Sorry. Tesla's putting in this pattern, guys. A downtrend pattern on the daily. Now, we did get this hanging man candle here, but we sold off from this hanging man candle. This is what is called a hanging man candle in between two green candles, right? Typically means more downside moves. So I would not be surprised to see Tesla head back to that 180 level that Darth was looking at taking it to, back here when we were popping in and around here beginning of February when we were looking to short. Like, I do think Tesla's going to get back to this 180 level, but again, it's not conducive for me, my capital, my strategy to sit here and try and predict where Tesla's going to go, right? I just want to play the chart and see what happens. And so for Tesla, this is healthy. This is what I'd want to see, right? If I was even long, I think this is healthy, because now what you're doing is you're getting some sellers out, right? You're letting people take their profits, but buyers are still buying the dip on Tesla. This area here specifically, right? This 190 area. Buyers are still here. The big area for me is going to be 180 on Tesla. That's the next true test to see if buyers are truly still in Tesla. Because if we lose 180, look what happened last time we lost 180, right? Here it is. Like a waterfall all the way down to 100, right? So for me to get short or to go short, 180 is going to be my that's going to be my price target, on the first larger time frame on a daily. 180 is what I want to see hold on Tesla. If 180 doesn't hold, then we're going to go to 150, right? That's my next level that I'm looking at, is 150, and you can see that here. The 150 to, let's say 150, right? We gapped up all the way here from on earnings. We gapped from 146 to 160, 161. But 150 is my next target. 180, 150, 100, basically on Tesla. Those are the larger time frames that I'm looking at. To me, the EMAs that I use On the 5 minute, I typically will use like a 9 and 21 if I throw them on there. And then, I'll also have these on here. I'll have the 13, the 48, and the 200 EMA. I always recommend looking at the 200 EMA. I love the 200 EMA. Last chart I want to show you guys, and then we're going to open it up to anything you guys want to look at. Google, right? Take a look at this name on Google. Here we go. This is the pattern I wanted to show you guys tonight. Another falling wedge. This time we have a daily trend line to bounce from. So now we have two things, right, that are looking bullish on Google, even though we have sold on the daily time frame at the beginning of February all the way from 108.67 to now we sold all the way down to 88.86. Google's a name that we bounced here, right? Bounced once, bounced twice. Do we bounce the third time? And if we do, we also have a falling wedge pattern. So I would naturally look for us to make a move back up to our key levels that we have to the upside. But we need to watch a key breakdown of this level, really a breakdown of this level here, this 89.18 level, $88 level. We should see a really nice move down to 86.63. And why is that? Well, again, when you look at consolidation ranges, you guys see here, right? We just talked about this on other names. What happened last time, we came down to this level and we lost it. Lost it, came down, right? Pushed back up, came down, pushed up, down, got all the way up, came all the way down, all the way up, came down, and launched from here. So I would think from a probability perspective, right, when we lose 89, the $89 key level on Google, that we could potentially see 86.63 pretty quickly, right? That's what I'm going to be watching on Google. There was one more chart I wanted to show you guys, and I can't think of what it is right now. Yeah, can't think of it right now. But I will put everything into the pre-market huddle. Are there any charts that you guys want to look at, or any questions that you have now that we're on the Sunday scan? Because at the end of the day, this is your guys' scan, right? This is a chance for you guys to come in, ask me questions, get some perspective on what I'm looking at in the markets for the week ahead. What are you guys seeing, or what do you want to potentially see from a chart perspective? Anything that catches your guys' eye? Oh, I know what I wanted to look at too while you guys are typing that in. I wanted to look at Amazon. It must be a timer setting on the audio, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on with the audio. What I was saying, though, on Amazon, you guys see how this is a key level. This is a huge 81.48, guys. It's just last time we touched this level, we came back down, touched it, and we bounced. And you see here, came back down, touched it 3 times, and then bounced. 81.48 all the way up here. You know, we got a high of 114. So this is an area that longs like to use for risk. If we break down through 81.48 on the weekly time frame, you guys see my price triggers are set here. I will short this, and this will be one of the easiest shorts, I think. Right? I think this will be one of the easiest shorts in my career. Because we'll take this right from 81.48 down to 65.50. Should be a very, very easy short to the downside here on Amazon. LMT. Let's take a look at LMT because someone had a chart request for LMT. Sunil Babu. Dang, sound cut out again. I don't know why it does that every time I switch a chart. I don't know why when I switch a chart the sound goes out. It's never done that before. That's so weird that happens. So anyway, on LMT, guys, this is what I'd be looking at on LMT, right? I'm basically looking at a supply zone on LMT here. That's supply for me on LMT. Now the reason I didn't include this because this was a news-driven candle, I think, on LMT when we pushed all the way up to that 500 level. So yeah, LMT for me, like this is a name that we rejected up here. If we push back up here again, you know, I'd look for a rejection and for LMT to come back down and first test this area, this 458 area, right? That's what I'm looking for on LMT. Under that, be looking here, 449, 450 on LMT. Yeah, I don't know why, Aaron. I don't know why I used to do that. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't know enough about Streamlabs to figure out what's going on, but I'll get with Little Chef or I'll get with someone. They'll help me out with that. And then ultimately, guys, on LMT or Sunil specifically, since you asked, I would be looking at this level here, right? Basically, the this area that we had, right? Rejection, breakout, retest, go, breakdown, bounce off. That's what I'd be looking at on LMT. These are my levels that I would look at on LMT. LMT, let's look at, okay, 3 other charts. DOCU, ZOM, and SQ. We'll look at those real quick. And I will go back to the audio before I start. Still have audio? Yeah, I still got audio. The audio cuts out, you guys let me know. DOCU. Nothing really happening on DOCU. DOCU's not moving too much for me. we're just kind of in this range on Docu, right? I think when we break out of this range, when we lose 51.51, I think we could see a nice move down to this 39.57 level, which we can put a marker on. And then when we break out of this range to the upside, first target would be that 77 for me on Docu. So that's what I'd be looking for. Like, these are the key levels on Docu. I'll just color code these so it's easier for you guys to follow. Make it a little bit bigger. All right, that's what I'll be watching on Docu. Okay, those two levels. That's what I'm watching on Docu. Break out of that and then, you know, try and go from there. SQ. Let's take a look at SQ. Then we'll look at NVIDIA. We got about 4 minutes left here. I try to be, conscious of your guys' time too. SQ. Crazy day on SQ. Here's another daily wedge pattern, right? You guys see. Sorry, Weeble's a little bit slow to get these charts. Right, big consolidation, tight, breakout or retest. We go all the way from $68 a share all the way to 90. All right, so 50% move here on SQ from January 12th to February 2nd, a 50% move. Most retail traders wouldn't really know how to play this, right? But because you guys know technical analysis, you know how to look at daily. Even if you guys are investing in your long-term Roth IRA, you can use technical analysis to make decisions on when to buy and when to sell, right? Buying into key area of demand or key area of support, selling at a key area of resistance or an area of supply for a potential rejection. Right? Like, you can do the exact same thing in your Roth IRA, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you when to buy or when to sell in your Roth or how to manage your funds, because that's not what my expertise is. But figuratively speaking, and just from a basic level, you guys know enough about supply and demand to be able to manage your Roth IRA, just utilizing daily timeframes or weekly timeframes to, especially with your Roth, because it's like a retirement account, right? So like, with like my Roth, like it's a long-term money account. So like when we come to like this level, I wouldn't mind buying SQ at a price of $68 a share, right? Because we're in this consolidation. I'll buy some shares here, and then I'm looking for a move up, right? I'm looking for a move back up into this area, right? Back up here into this area. And what happened? Well, we got to move right back up into that area within a month. Right, so this is not rocket science, and trading's not rocket science. Technical analysis isn't rocket science. Just pick your spots. It's just like when you're day trading. Same thing with your long terms. Pick your spots. Pick your spots at a good spot and sell when you're happy and in the green. Let's look at NVIDIA real quick, and then we will bounce out of here, and then I'll catch you guys in the morning for pre-market huddle. NVIDIA, 232 right now on NVIDIA. It's on some massive steroids. I really want to short NVIDIA all the way up here because it's just been nonstop. This is a big spot for NVIDIA, actually. Last time we got up over this level on the daily, look at where we went to. When we approached this level after we had been underneath of it for some time. I don't count this. Most people say, well, why don't you count that? Well, because we were above this level and then we came back down just for a short period and then bounced out. But I'm talking like when we were back here, like below this level for a period of time, and we got rejection, finally breakout. What happened? We went from 231 October 25th of 2021 to 346 a month later, right? $110 move on NVIDIA in a month. So this level is huge. The fact that we're over this level is very massive, but I wouldn't think NVIDIA is going to carry the market, but who knows, right? You can see that it's held on the daily time frame. We held this level. 231.71. We held it. 2 days in a row we held it. We tried to come back down through it and we held it. Prior resistance, 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 now support. Right? Now if we break down through it, then naturally I think we see 225 and then I think we see 216. But if we hold it, we'll need to chart some levels to the upside, but this is a key pivot spot on NVIDIA. So I'm glad someone said that. This is a big spot. You know, do we make a move back up on NVIDIA back into the 250 range and try and fill this gap? The last gap that we have on the chart back from April of last year, where we gapped down from 260 down to 250. I don't know, but this is a big spot on NVIDIA, and with SPY looking weak and semiconductor names looking strong, I just don't know that NVIDIA is going to carry the market. And if you look, there was some aggressive selling up here last time we were at these levels, right? Like they sold us from April 5th. Let's go down here. April 5th. We can even go down here to April 27th. So in the month of April, right, they took us from 274 to 282. Massive selling in the month of April when we were at these levels. So this could be a potential massive short swing play here if we can confirm under 231, right? That 231.71, and using that as your risk, because what happened? Rejection, rejection, and again, last time we came up to these areas when we were under them for a while, rejection, rejection, and then we finally broke out. But yeah, key spot here on NVIDIA. So curious to see what happens. Curious to see, what that looks like going into this week, but it will be on watch for me. So that's all I got for you guys this week. Covered a couple tickers, covered about 6 to 7 tickers tonight, names that I'm watching going into the week. We don't have any Fed events happening this week, so that's something that we can all rejoice. We don't have to be too nervous about as we're trading SPY, QQQ, ES, NQ, SPX, whatever it is that you trade from an index perspective. You don't have to worry about Fed economic data coming out this week. I don't think we have a heavy schedule with Fed speakers either. It's all going to be centered around the earnings this week, I think, for me. At least that's what I'm going to be watching, and then some of these daily timeframes, and that's why I like to use my weekends to find these daily timeframe setups to execute on them during the week. So I appreciate everybody being on here. We will be live trading tomorrow in the Discord, Moneyline Trading. You guys can check out the link to the Discord in my Twitter bio. It's also here in our YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like the video if you found this useful, and please subscribe to our channel. We'll be posting out some more stuff like this, guys. Also working on some more personal content. I've been in the lab for the last 2 weeks, filming a bunch of stuff that I'm hoping will be beneficial to you guys when we start getting that into post-production and start editing some stuff. Yeah, let's finish out February strong. We got 2 more days, and then we roll the calendars forward to March. So like I always tell you guys, as we flip these calendars, if you're red in the month of February, it's okay, right? And if you were red in January and you're red in February, it's okay, right? At the end of the day, trading is a journey. It's not a sprint. And how many times have you maybe failed a course or failed a test? Are you going to give up when you fail? No, right? You jump right back in the saddle because you know it can be done. Don't let 1 month, don't let 2 months get in the way of a 10-year business plan for you. And what I mean by that is don't let that get in the way of your 10-year trading plan and your trading journey, right? If you want to be the most successful options trader in the world, go do it. The only person stopping you is yourself. So if that's really what you're motivated to do and that's what you want to do, if you just want to make $3,000 a month, if you want to make $5,000, if you just want to make your mortgage payment every single month, focus on that, right? Some people don't need to make $100,000 a month, or don't, it's just not, some people aren't going to do that, right? Some people will and some people won't. But think about it as an opportunity to get better. Every single day, like Darth says, an opportunity to build good habits and reinforce the habits that we've been working on. It's all muscle memory. So, moral of the story here is if you're red in February, don't let that get to you and don't let that spill over into March. Take what you did in February, take the positives from February, or learn from the negatives, or learn from the things that you did that you don't want to do in March, and focus on getting those in the right spot and getting better every single day. That's the key here, guys. So with that, that's all I got for you guys. I'll be in the Discord a little bit this evening. If you have any questions about the scans, some things that I hit on, just let me know. Other than that, I'll have levels tomorrow in pre-market for you guys. Looking forward to it this week. Again, 2 days left in February. A lot of earnings coming up this week. Could get really interesting with some flush plays this week. And then we flip the calendar into March, and we'll be able to finish out the quarter strong. So I appreciate you guys being on here. Tomorrow we'll be live trading with everyone, and then Tuesday through Friday it'll be back with all of our premium members. So appreciate you being here. Make sure you like and subscribe to YouTube, and I will see you on the next scan, or I'll see you in the Discord, or I'll see you tomorrow for live trading. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night.